Okay, how did I become a life coach? Thank you for asking. Yes, so on one of my videos, I was telling you about how I think it was in part 8 where it was about me and my boyfriend. We had moved in together. Yeah. Oh. And so then I had, this is what had happened. I remembered because I watched that back and I was like, how did that go? And what was going on is like, I've always had 2 jobs. Pretty much my whole life, it's always been 2 jobs. And so at that time, when I lived with him, I only had 1 job and I had a lot of time off from work. I had like a few weeks off. It was like there was a lot of downtime. And so I thought, oh, maybe I need to get like a little side hustle. You know, I've been hearing about this. Have you guys heard of like Choose FI? Yeah, they talk about side hustles and stuff, but I thought maybe I should get one of those. And because I do have some free time sometimes. And so I was looking it up, like, what's a good side hustle? And it was like janitorial and like babysitting and dog walking, things like that. And then like it said life coach. And I'm like, what's that? And so then when I had found Brooke Castillo's The Life Coach School podcast, and I started listening to it, then I realized that she was also friends with like all of these other life coaches that I was listening to their podcasts already. So I started listening to her podcast and I was like, whoa, this lady, like, wow, she really knows what's up. And she could just really describe things so well, like our thoughts create our feelings. That was huge for me. That meant I have full control of how I feel, and how I feel affects everything in my life. It makes me like show up or not show up, or do things or not do things, or react or underreact, overreact, right? And it all starts here, because we might think it's like just the circumstance of life, like, oh well, that person is just rude, or that person this or that, or my job this, or you know, just things like that, where it's like, but what are you thinking about it? You know, it's a whole thing. I love coaching. Yeah. The other thing I haven't talked about much is like my clients and like all of their success and stuff. I keep everything pretty private, but sometimes I mention different things. One of my clients did start a YouTube channel. Yeah, they did start a YouTube channel, and they were, they said, I'm going to do it like you. I'm going to do every day until January. I was like, wow, that's so cool. Yay, 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 yay. So happy. Yeah, so I found that podcast. I started listening to it. I was hooked because I was already kind of looking for like, you know, the side hustle idea. And then I ran across it and I was like, holy moly, if I can fix my life and fix other people's lives, like even if I can only fix my life and maybe just 1 or 2 or something, I didn't even know what was possible. I just signed up. Within like a week, I was signed up. So yeah, I was like all in. Like when I'm in something, I'm like all in. Like I'm committed 100%. I'm in it. So yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, what had happened is we hadn't bought a house together because the market was all crazy and we needed a certain kind of house and we just didn't end up finding it. And he ended up getting a different kind of house and it was fine. But then I thought, well, I want to have my investment too. Like, and then the lady on the podcast, Brooke, she kept on talking about investing in yourself, you know, and this one day I was like, it just clicked. I'm like, with the housing markets all crazy, you know, I don't need to buy a house now. And then it was like, well, maybe I should like invest in myself and like see where I can go with this, you know? And I thought, well, if it just helps me, then that would be awesome. So I plunked down my $20,000 on a credit card. I was already debt free, and then I put myself back into debt on a, you know, there was no interest on the credit card, but yeah, I went back there, but I figured that would be a good investment. I was looking at the long term. And so then I had moved out because it got a little bit like too much, like us living together. Like I needed the time on my own. And then once I moved out, I had decided before I had left his house, like I'm going to enroll myself into some therapy, group therapy, because I realized like I really need help to kind of resolve these last little tangly ends of, I had been in therapy before, long time, right? But this was different. Like things were coming up that hadn't come up before. And so that's what I did. I went to group therapy. I went to therapy. I was in coach training program, a part of a group coaching program, and I had my own life coach. Yeah, it was deep. It was deep. I needed that time alone. There was, just me and my daughter were living here, and for me to take care of her. So I did that, which was incredible. I mean, it really did catapult my life. It really did, because with that much healing and with that much concentrated time and effort, I mean, things really did change. Everything changed. Like my relationship with my boyfriend changed. With my ex-husband, it changed. With my kids, it changed. It also, like, I got a great big raise at my job. What else happened? I was just happier, more independent. I was getting better with my money, things like that. So, yeah, everything like totally turned around, and like I did take full responsibility. And I was like, what can I do to fix this, And then, this is the really cool part. I had a friend that we grew up in the same congregation, but when I was disfellowshipped at 16, I went this way, and then she was coming into the congregation. And so she saw all of this like aftermath. She's like, I know you. I'm like, I know you too. I've heard of you. She invited me to a Facebook group that was private, and it was just for a few ex-Jehovah's Witness girls that we kind of grew up together, and we didn't even know that like we were ex-witnesses, and it was really cool. So we had met each other, reunited like before I had moved back here. And so so I had put a little post on Facebook after I had moved here, and I said, hey, I'm in coach training, like if anybody would like coaching, like I would love to coach you for free, and I put a little thing on Facebook, and then she messaged me and she was like, you're gonna be a coach? She's like, I'm in coach training too. And I'm like, no way. She said, yeah. And she described her coach training, and it was health and fitness, which we had already had this conversation. I think it was a year prior, because when she started that group, I Just Want to Heal and Move On, when she had started that group, we had a meetup, and we really talked a lot that day. It was just her and I that showed up to the meetup, and we talked a lot that day about like our goals and how we want to help people. And she's all into health and fitness, and I'm all into this other kind of personal development stuff. And so when she saw my post, and then we said, oh yeah, we're both coaches, I'm like, hey, how about this? I can coach you, and then you can coach me, and we'll just do a trade. And I said, because I really need to practice on somebody. And so we did. And so that's what we did. And we'd record these calls, and then I'd have to turn them in to see if they would, pass submission. And it was quite a bit for me to get my coach training. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty awesome. So then whenever we would have our calls, she would be talking about EXJW stuff, like things with just everything that comes up because of being an EXJW. Okay. I don't want to give away all these things, but basically at the end of us coaching, and then when I got certified, and all of the calls that we did together were what got me my certification. It was her showing up consistently every week, me showing up consistently every week, and she had me on this diet plan, that like health and fitness, because she is a bikini competitor. So she put me on this like bikini model diet, and I'm like lifting weights and eating high protein, and like my life is changing in that way too. Oh, it's been so awesome. In February, it will be 2 years since I've been on her program. Yeah, 2 years. And then, with my coach trainings, that would be like almost 3 years. Anyway, yeah, so that's how that happened. And when we kind of went our separate ways, because we had, we're like, I've got my certification, she's gonna go do her thing. Like, I'm still with her, like I'm still paying her to be my coach. But she's like, Elle, you could help so many witnesses. And I'm like, really? You think so? She's like, yeah, because I thought I was gonna be a weight loss coach because I've lost 90 pounds, and I thought that was my thing. I thought that's kind of what I was good at, or I could help people with, which I do have a whole program. Like, I can help any ex-witness through that, and I have all kinds of tools. But yeah, so I had to really think about it. And I had a few sessions with my other coach, and she's like, so what do you think? We had to take like 2 sessions to work through this, dilemma. Like, what do I do? Like, I got my certification, like where to go from here? And it took me a little while, but I just realized how every single problem or frustration in my life has really stemmed from being raised as a Jehovah's Witness. All of it. It all kind of goes back to that. So I thought, man, that is the common denominator. That is the one thing that it's like, if I can undo all of that subconscious thinking and fix my life, everything will change, and it did. It really did. Like, it's incredible. So I lost the last weight when I had got down to about 150 pounds. That was the exact same weight that I was when I was abused when I was 16. I was the same weight. And so when I got to that weight, it was really hard for me. And I knew it was a mental block for me to get past that. And so even with all of the coaching, like, the coaching was great. I was getting coached from her. I was getting coached from, my other group program and my private coach. So like, that was on lock. But I had to call my therapist, because he had said, like, you're good, like, run free, and then I came to him and I said, I think I have, like, there's a little bit of a block, because I feel, and basically what it was is, like, I feel like if I get smaller than 150, it was that right around in that 150 where I was like, I didn't feel comfortable. And I noticed myself, like, stalling out and, like, not trying any harder and not really getting to my goal. And so, yeah, we had 2 sessions I had 2 sessions with my therapist, and we worked past it. But that's the thing with coaching and therapy. Like, you can come in and out of it, right? You can come in and out. Like, it doesn't have to be just this one certain program. Like, I needed my therapist for a couple sessions, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I think I'm past that, I think I'm gonna be okay. And he's like, okay. So yeah, that's what happened. I got certified, and after that, like, I built my website. That was a real labor of love. I bought this website thing, and then it took me about 6 months to put it up. So I put up my website. I've created a private podcast. I have a blog. I mean, this has all been in 1 year. 1 year since I took over the group. So the health and fitness coach, my friend, her group, she gave it to me, because then I was like, oh, okay, well, I am going to coach ex-witnesses. Like, okay, let's do this. And then she said, why don't you take this group? This would be really cool for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so special, because it's like, like, this original group, like, this is how we, like, met. This is how this whole thing, like, blossomed and became this beautiful thing, so that was so cool. Yeah, so it's been 1 year. This is October of right now is October 2024. So I took over the group in 23, and yeah, it's so 1 year today, and like, a lot has happened. Like, I've coached a lot of ex-witnesses, and let me tell you what, it's a, like, coaching is one thing, but then when you add the EXJW thing, it's like another layer to it. And I don't claim to be a trauma coach, okay? Like, I am a life coach, so it's kind of like, let's imagine, like, coaching is sort of like, you know, you're going to be kind of fixing things from the past, and then coaching is more, and like asking a lot of why, and then coaching is more like, okay, but like, now what? Now where are we going? What's the direction? It's like when you get to that place of, you know, like, functional, like really functional, then, you know, you can go on with your coaching. But for me, I did, you know, a combination. For some people, they do a combination of it. I have one client that he does coaching all the time, and sometimes he mixes in his therapist. And then my other clients, they do have a therapist. So the ones that I have, it's like it's both, you know. And then, yeah, but with the one, like I said, it's a therapist, kind of comes in and out. But it depends on the person and what they have going on and what their goals are and where they're at, right? Because I'm never gonna be here telling somebody like, oh yeah, coaching's the answer. Like, it's not always the answer for everybody. It's not. And I'm not here to be that kind of, you know, like, gross, nasty salesperson, because I'm not. Like, it's just, I don't even have it in me to be like that. When I have consultations, you know, it's a no pressure consultation. I'm not trying to pull one over on anybody. I just always want to sell people on themselves, you know. Like, do you see your potential? How amazing you are? Like, how much you could do, or like, this is possible for you, you know? But then I also give people lots of space too, because we've been coerced and forced long enough. Like, we don't need that. Nobody needs that. And so I never come from that kind of place. No. And in fact, right now, I only take on 3 clients at a time, because my clients, the way that I have it set up is I have video calls that I do once a week on Zoom, and then those calls are recorded and then they get sent to them via email, you know, privately. But those are, that is really nice, because then they don't have to take notes, and and then they can replay it, which I love that my coach did that with me, because I would listen to her over and over and over again. I was like, oh, you know, until I kind of, you know, like, it was good, like, in between calls. And then also for my clients, I do like in between support. So like, if they're going through stuff, they can always reach out to me. If I can take the message or the call or whatever, like, I try to give them a little bit of extra if I can. If not, then, you know, I always try my best. And it seems to be that, you know, some clients are going to need me more sometimes, and then sometimes a little bit less. And then it ends up being like a really good flow of things. But because of that, I'm only able to take on 3 clients, because I do work full time in a corporate career that is, that I have a leadership role in. And this career that I have is also a career that it's high stress, and it's a little bit, well, I don't want to talk bad about my job, but it's just not, you know, I kind of landed in this, you know, did you listen about how I was talking about myself being blown around like a tumbleweed? I was just, like, I ended up here. Like, I did work really hard once I got into the role, but it's not my dream, you know, but it has paid the bills, like, for sure. Like, it has been amazing for me. But my goal one day is to be a full-time life coach for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, that is I believe it's my purpose. I believe that a lot of the things that I've been through and I went through, they weren't all for nothing. Yeah, they were lessons, and it's made me stronger and better and more beautiful over time, you know? So that is my life coaching story. And I'm also very aware that I am a new coach, and also I'm a passionate coach. And I am like, this job was built for me. Like, I love it, you know? And it all started out with this dream of like, oh, maybe I could like have a side hustle so I could, you know, get myself out of debt, you know? not out of debt. What was I? I was already out of debt. Oh, so I can retire. Yeah. Who else is trying to retire? And they're like, oh yeah, because Paradise was supposed to come and like I didn't save any money and I've never had a good relationship with money. Me too. Me too. So, it's like what better way to do this than like, give something back to the community and like, have this whole thing just build this, like a give and take, and I do a lot of free things for people too. Like there's a lot of calls that I take that oh, that's so bright, that a lot of calls that I take that don't have that they, I'm trying to get a good angle, that they don't have oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, a lot of calls that I take that are just like because I want to. Like I love talking to EXJWs and I loved seeing, what they're going through and like how I can help. And like, this is my passion. This is my purpose. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye everyone.